I help the owners of trades businesses grow their business and make more money from them. And since starting this business, I've helped them add over $1 million in profits. So I'm going to teach you how to figure out your hourly rate so you can profit at a price that people are willing to pay for. We're going to do that by covering the fundamentals of figuring out your hourly rate, and then we're going to build out our own hourly rate within this video so you can actually see how the numbers play into making an hourly rate. The number one fundamental that we need to cover is that you need to stop comparing yourself to others. So trying to get a feel for what others are doing is okay, but I don't think it's a great idea. Almost everybody is struggling and barely anyone actually profits. I can tell you this because I've seen a ton of businesses that have a set hourly rate that's right around the same as everybody else's, and they are struggling like crazy. If you don't want to be compared to other companies, start that trend yourself. Stop doing it yourself, and then maybe customers won't compare you to others, okay? So here's the thing. If you profit a lot on each customer, but not enough customers are buying, your price is probably too high. Now, if you're getting a lot of customers, but you can't really profit that much, your price is too low. There is a sweet spot in between where you can maximize both, okay? So try to find that. When should you charge by the hour? So generally, unpredictable jobs where the complexity and the time taken will vary massively between different jobs is when you want to use the hourly rate. Usually this is when you don't know what you're heading into, you have to do a diagnosis before or something like that. That's when hourly rate really should be used. Take it as a rule of thumb. If you're there to fix something, hourly rate is the way to go. So it's great for plumbing, HVAC, electrical, any service type of work. Usually just doing hourly is going to be the best way to do it. There's times where you shouldn't charge by the hour and a fixed rate is much better. So that is on jobs that are very predictable. You go in and you know exactly what you're heading into. You do the same stack of things, but just at different quantities, right? So if you can generally predict how things are going to go, flat rate is the way to go, right? So this could be in like cleaning, painting, mowing, where like you know how much work you have to do based on the size of the area, right? You know if you're cleaning 5 rooms, typically takes the same amount of time, right? So if you know how long it's going to take based on the information the customer can provide, flat rate is usually the way to go. Now, here's the thing. You can absolutely combine the two and use both in the same company. So let's say if you're installing something as an HVAC or plumbing or an electrical company, you tend to have very predictable jobs, right? Installing a furnace is almost always going to be the same thing, right? It's going to take right about the same amount of time, just maybe depending on which unit you go. But if you're there to fix an issue, you're there to fix their current furnace, now you have no idea how long it'll take. If you know, or you can easily and accurately figure out how long it'll take, charge flat rate. And if you can't know how long it'll take until you've already done it, then charge hourly.
If you own a business and you want it to be a $10 million business, a $1 billion company, or you just want to have a great business that feeds you and your family for many years to come join us on our free 5-week business scaler challenge. It's a free 5-week challenge, as I said, in which you get to scale your business along other business owners. So you get a lot of really valuable insight from many industries, and you also get to know that you're not alone in the struggles you have, and you get to solve those issues not only with my guidance, but also with the perspective of other business owners. Link is down in the description, and then I'll leave the rest of this little clip with some testimonials from previous participants so you can see what they found.
We're talking about stuff that's not readily available every day.
What you've given are specific, narrow focuses.
I think it's worked very well. I've learned a lot.
Let's get to building it. So the number one thing that we have to do is figure out our cost. So what we care about is labor, how much it costs us for labor, our drive time, and our setup time. Now, this does not include materials, okay? You charge materials separately. You also mark up materials. Let's get into the example. So here's our numbers. So for labor, we're gonna say $64. We usually have 2 people on each job, so it averages out to that, right? So figure out what are your labor costs per hour on each job on average, right? So take the jobs, maybe some jobs take 4 people, some jobs take 1, right? Some jobs have an employee that makes 40 an hour. Some jobs have an employee that makes 17 an hour, right? So average it out. Our average on this example is $64 an hour. Now, our drive time on average, it takes us about 15 minutes on average to get to each job. And our setup and cleanup time is about 22 minutes per job. So that means that our cost per hour is $64 and our fixed cost on every job is $39.47. So let's figure out what our rate needs to be. We want to be above a 60% gross margin ideally. If your materials tend to be the most expensive thing and you already profit a ton, you can go a little bit lower. But if materials are usually minimal or highly unprofitable, just make sure you're always above 60% on labor. Good rule of thumb, overall, you want to be above a 50% gross profit margin at the bare minimum, okay? That's the bare minimum in contracting. Under that, and you're really gonna feel the struggle. We're gonna take our cost per hour, which is $64, and divide it by 0.4, since we want 60% gross profit margin. Our hourly rate is $160 now. But wait, what's up with the fixed costs from earlier? Well, here's what happens with the fixed costs from earlier. We're gonna do a service fee, okay? So our service fee makes the initial response more profitable. So it'll cover the drive time, it'll cover the setup time, and other fixed costs that we might have. So there's two ways that we can do it. We can add fixed costs to our hourly cost and just mark it up like we just did by dividing by 0.4, or we can multiply our hourly rate by 1.5x to 2x. So we take our current hourly rate, 160, and it turns into $240 or $320, right? Anywhere between there. Either option is fine, just make sure you profit enough. Here's how the service fee works, all right? So your service fee will replace the first hour. So on a 6-hour job, we charge the service fee and then 5 hours of service. There's more fees that you can add. Travel fees. If your job is outside of your service area or really far away, you can add a travel fee. So just take the cost that you have for the employees and multiply by 1.2 times, and that should give you enough money to cover maintenance and cover fuel on that vehicle. We can also add special fees. It could be like emergency fees or off-hour fees. So we can charge a little bit more for this. Feel free to add a multiplier to your hourly rate. Like, hey, look, if it's an emergency call or if it's an after hours call, we're gonna charge you double our hourly rate, 1.5x our hourly rate. Next thing you can do is for special conditions, right? So you can charge more if the conditions are different, right? If you require extra caution or specialized equipment or specialized labor, right? Maybe you need your supervisor out there the entire time. Maybe you need someone that's a little bit more skilled out there, right? You can charge an extra fee to cover those extra costs and maintain the proper margins. If you want to learn more about pricing out services and how to do it overall and take all the other parts that come into pricing a service, so more customers say yes at a higher price, you can watch our guide on pricing services here. Anyways, if you did enjoy the video, please consider subscribing, and I'll see you on the next one.